Hi, I'm Megan.
And I'm Aslan.
And welcome to Respect Our Authority,
where we expect you to listen to us argue about movies and enjoy it.
We're going to talk about our favorite movies and what makes them our favorites in this podcast. Today on Respect Our Authority, we're going to be talking about Phantom Menace, the first Star Wars movie. And
what a lot of people think is the worst Star Wars movie of the prequels. Although
number one, but really number 4-ish.
Yeah, because A New Hope was originally Star Wars 1 until George was like, you know what? I want to tell a prequel.
What was it? What did we say? It was 1997 that it came out?
It was 99 that came out.
No, okay.
Right.
Okay, so synopsis of the movie. Quick little synopsis to jog your memory.
All right, here's the rundown. So basically, the movie starts, all right, we're immediately taken to the Trade Federation starship because the Trade Federation has blockaded the whole planet because of like a trade embargo they wanted to do. So basically, the Senate sends 2 Jedi Knights, Qui-Gon and his apprentice Obi-Wan. And so basically, they get there and the Trade Federation immediately tries to kill them without negotiations even taking place.
Not suspicious at all.
No, not suspicious one bit. So basically, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are able to escape, and they get to the hangar area where they see the big droid army ready to invade Naboo. And how do Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon go to warn the Naboo?
With the army.
Yeah, they go with the army onto the planet's surface.
Hey, by the way, there's an army here, guys.
Yeah. By the way, I know the capital's already, being...
Under siege?
Yeah, under siege, but I just want to let you know that there's an invasion. So basically, they get to the Theed. That's the capital of Naboo, right?
That sounds right.
So they get
I believe you.
No, first they get to the planet surface with the army that we were talking about, and they meet the greatest character in cinematic history.
Bum, bum, bum.
Jar Jar Binks. Upon meeting Jar Jar Binks, Jar Jar tells them that they can get to Theed, the capital city, by going to the Gungan city.
Atlantis. Yeah,
Atlantis, basically. And so they go to the city. They talk to Boss Nass, was it? Basically, Boss Nass is like, oh yeah, Jar Jar here was banished.
Banished for being clumsy.
Banished for being clumsy, yeah.
I think they just banished him because they hate him as much as we do.
That sounds about right. So they basically get rid of them by giving them a little underwater ship thing. They get to the capital city. They warn the Naboo, and they're like, okay, well let's get the queen out of here. And so they get onto the starship. They go, and suddenly it was their what broke on their ship?
Their flux capacitor.
Yeah, their flux capacitor. I forget what the part was.
Yeah.
But basically, they need a new one. They need a new one. So the only planet that's nearby is Tatooine. So they land there. They go to the city that they dock near, and they talk to the shopkeeper in that city named Watto. Now, Watto has something. He owns someone that's very important to the Star Wars lore. How they ran into this person, just randomly in the galaxy, no one knows because the Force guided them.
It broke their ship.
Yeah, the Force broke their ship. So basically, they talk to the Watto and they talk about getting the new part for the ship, and Watto tells them that he's the only one in town that's got the part. Now,
which they believe.
Yeah, they believe. They don't even question it.
That's like buying 101, you check a couple locations,
Yeah, because
if you're buying a car, you definitely go to a couple dealerships. But,
yeah, even to find a cheaper price.
They're master negotiators. You'd think they'd know this.
Yeah, and they would get it immediately, but the only money that they have is not accepted in Tatooine because Tatooine, in the lore, Tatooine is like Hutt space, like what's owned by the Hutts.
Oh, okay.
And so I think they have like their own currency from like what the core planets use, because Coruscant is like a core planet, which is the capital of the Republic. And so basically Their credit is not accepted.
So the Hutts are gangsters, though,
Yeah,
right?
they're gangsters.
Okay, so it's space gangsters.
Space gangsters.
Okay, so
space gangsta slugs.
Are they all the slugs?
They're all slugs. All Hutts are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so they own the whole space around Tatooine and around Tatooine. They own a few planets, and so basically they have
Hutt territory.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And so they need money, and basically Qui-Gon, the Jedi Master, the wise Jedi Master, basically gambles on space NASCAR for a little boy to win a deadly race that kills most of the combatants. Well, I shouldn't say combatants. Most of the racers die, either from user error, sabotage from other racers, or just being straight murked by sand terrorists. So basically,
and thus begins the best video game in the history of
N64 games.
Yeah. It's true. It's the only reason.
Yeah, they sold it for toys and video games. Fun video games. But anyways, Anakin, who's the kid that wins the race, and basically Watto agrees to let Anakin go because they tested Anakin, and it turns out that he has the highest midichlorian count that's ever been seen in the whole galaxy, even more than the Grand Master of the Jedi, Yoda. And so Qui-Gon's like, "Oh, this is the chosen one. What's the chosen one? Do they tell us in the episode 1, or do they tell us in episode 2?
Like
the prophecy, because they talk about nothing but the prophecy in the first movie.
Probably 2. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably talk about they say prophecy a lot in the first one, and they probably actually explain it in 2, probably. But anyways, so they get the kid, they go to Coruscant because they have the piece they need, and then next comes the best part of the whole movie. They just stand around and talk about politics and legislation. And basically the current sitting Supreme Chancellor doesn't want to intervene in in Naboo's affairs with the whole planet blockaded. And so with the help of the current senator of Naboo, Senator Palpatine, Palpatine tells Queen Amidala, the Queen of Naboo, to have a vote of no confidence. And so basically they do the vote, and he's basically not the Supreme Chancellor anymore because they had a vote. And the new Supreme Chancellor ends up being Palpatine, the guy that advised Amidala to do the vote in the first place. So basically, with that guy out of the way, they're able to get... They never ever do send an army back. They just
they don't.
Yeah, they don't. There's no time. So the 2 Jedi, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, with the Queen, a bunch of Naboo guards, and the child, they just abducted. Go back to Naboo.
Straight back. So it's just time wasting, other than setting Palpatine up.
That's all that really did, was just set Palpatine up and talked about midichlorians.
Okay, so they go back. They fight the people.
Yeah, they fight the people. Basically,
they fight the power.
So basically, according to the lore, Gungans, the people that are Jar Jar's race that were in Atlantis, and the Naboo don't get along because the Gungans are like, oh, the Naboo think they're better than us. So they completely cut off diplomatic ties. And so basically, they're like, well, we need an army, and we don't have an army. So they go find the Gungans, but they're not there. Jar Jar knows where they are, though, because they have the sacred place that they go when things are not looking good for them. So basically they go to the sacred grove and they convince the Gungans. They're like, oh, we don't think we're better than you, blah blah blah. And the Gungans are like, okay. So they just send a bunch of their guys to go die in the war because they get equal treatment now, I guess.
We can die the same as you.
Yeah, except they can die more than us because they have a whole army.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
They basically convinced the Gungans to go die. So basically, yeah, so they set up their battle plan. So basically the Gungans are going to stall and distract the droid army so that the small army of the Queen's Guard can go into Theed and capture the Viceroy, which is the leader of the Trade Federation, which is the same people that took over the planet. So they go to the capital city, the small group of the Queen's Guards. They fight some droids, but then Darth Maul shows up. Darth Maul is like the coolest bad guy in all of Star Wars. Changed my mind.
No, I don't. I did. Kylo Ren is way cooler, but that's okay. We can have different opinions.
We can have wrong opinions. That's allowed here.
Wrong opinion. Oh, okay.
I'm just playing. But anyways, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan go fight Darth Maul. The Queen and her guards go try to capture the Viceroy, and the Gungans are fighting the entire droid army and dying in doing so. Unfortunately, Jar Jar does survive the battle after being made general, mind you. Why was he made general? Because he
to further the plot.
Further the plot, and I think it's solely because he just stuck around the Jedi and was like, I showed them where the Secret Grove is, and now we have this alliance, so you're general now. Even though you have no credentials, and we literally banished you a month ago for being clumsy, so we're going to make you a general and lead a bunch of our guys in the battle.
I feel like a main characteristic that I would look for if I was trying to find a general was that I would really want them to be clumsy.
Yeah, not competent whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what I look for. Yeah.
So basically, the battle between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan, they're fighting. Qui-Gon gets separated from Obi-Wan and dies. And then Obi-Wan gets really angry and fights Darth Maul. Darth Maul has the high ground, but Obi-Wan says, well, no, and slices him in half. The movie is led to make us believe that he died there, but according to the Clone Wars TV show and fan service, he lives.
Okay.
And they burn Qui-Gon like a bunch of psychopaths that want to smell really bad smells. Because burning bodies is like...
I've read that it smells good.
Does it?
I've read it smells like bacon.
I was told that it smells absolutely atrocious.
I think it's... Well, okay, hair would probably not smell good, but I read that actual bodies is like bacon smell, and you're probably like, ooh, that smells good. I don't want to think that smells good.
Well, it just makes me want to burn some people.
Okay, but hair wouldn't smell good when it burns for sure, or clothing. So Viking, it's not a Viking burial, is it?
No, Vikings just send their people down. Yeah. So
not a Viking burial, which would be way cooler.
It would be way cooler. And Anakin is made a Jedi Padawan. And that's the movie. Yep.
Okay.
That's the movie. Alright. Favorite scenes. Go.
My favorite scene in this movie is the underwater chase scene.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yes. Well, because of that, did we remember where during that movie do they say, I've got a bad feeling about that? Is it in this scene?
That was at the very beginning of the movie.
Okay.
I have a bad feeling about this.
As soon as the movie starts.
They could have said it in the underwater scene, too. I like this scene because I just like the classic Star Wars monsters, and they have so many, in that scene.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah. And it, I don't know, looks a little bit like Godzilla, like that Keanu Reeves Godzilla, underwater, swimming.
Matthew Broderick?
No, the one where he lays the eggs in the stadium.
Isn't that with Matthew Broderick? Wasn't he in a Godzilla movie?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's Keanu Reeves. You better look that up, girl.
Okay.
You better check yourself. Check your movie facts,
I will check
ma'am.
myself, but what is your favorite scene?
My favorite scene, I'm the 99%, and I love the pod racing and the Darth Maul. All right? Pod racing because space NASCAR.
So you're basic.
I'm basic, yeah. I'm basic boy. But yeah, space NASCAR and Angry Tattoo Man.
Angry Tattoo.
Yeah, he's literally too angry to die.
So you like the sword fighting scenes?
Oh yeah, no. Duel of the Fates, in my opinion, was the best choreographed lightsaber battle in Star Wars.
Weren't people mad about that because it looked better than the 4, 5, and 6?
They probably were, but I mean, the reason why it was better than 4, 5, and 6 is because they don't have the CGI that the prequels had. They just had some guys whipping around sticks and hitting each other with them. And, back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, that's not going to look as exciting as it will in the late 90s and early 2000s.
We're going to get into our least favorite scenes. So what is your least favorite scene?
My least favorite scene is probably the most exciting scene of the movie, where they're standing around and talking about legislation.
Politics.
Yes.
I love politics, but not movie politics, I guess. So
I mean, it really does. It makes sense.
it slows the movie down. And like we were saying earlier, it was all pointless, basically. It was just to set up Palpatine. They didn't even get an army to go back, so it was kind of time wasting.
In the movie, like the movie characters, for them it was a waste of time, but for the story, the whole story of the movies, it was very important.
I've read during those scenes that there is a part where you can see E.T., like E.T.'s
Yes,
creatures.
yes.
I don't know the timestamp on it, but
No.
there's a lot to pick from when I'm thinking of least favorite scene. I think, like, if we're talking about, like, what hasn't held up well, the whole Gun army battle.
Gun.
What did I say?
Gun.
Ooh. Okay, the Gun army battle on the hill. I remember it being amazing back then. Like, so much blue and green, and, like, the hills and the grass and everything looked amazing, and the orbs looked amazing.
The orbs, like, how do they even work? Because you throw them at the droids. Is it like an impact thing? You know, they throw them at the droids and it breaks them. But, like, the moment, like, the captain rides up next to Jar Jar when he's hanging on the tank, tosses
it,
Jar Jar
and it doesn't.
And he, like, juggles it and accidentally juggles it and hits the droid that pops up next to Jar Jar.
And it doesn't explode.
Like, it kills the droid, but it doesn't kill Jar Jar. So, might be, like, anti-electronics, but if that's the case, then the Gungans just have this huge arsenal of anti-droid orbs just lying around in their city
ready
or
to
something.
go, yeah.
Yeah, ready to go. Even though
Yeah.
their previous enemy was the Naboo.
We talked about that earlier, about, like, how there was the trade embargo on the planet, and maybe that was the item, because maybe it's just some super tech that only blows up when you want it to blow up, and everybody wants some of it.
So they're
my
embargoing
theory.
the planet so that the Gungans can't export their giant
Super
blue
weapon.
balls.
Yeah. And also, I think, like, you're not attached to Jar Jar at that point. Most normal people, you're not attached to the army. So
You're not a single mom or a little kid, so you're not going to care about Jar Jar.
I don't buy that theory. But anyway, there's no suspense for what should be a intense battle scene. There's no suspense because you don't care.
Yeah.
But it just looks like garbage now, which is why you shouldn't just rely on CGI when you're making movies.
I guess at the time they're like, yeah, the CGI is so good it makes our stuff look like PlayStation 1 graphics. So we gotta go all in on the CGI stuff. CGI everything. All right, now we're gonna talk about facts. You want to go ahead with yours?
Sure, I'll go with mine. If you'll notice, in this movie, there are some interesting hairstyles, and Obi-Wan has
the Jedi
braid behind his left ear, which they wear while they're in training. Sometimes when I need to feel really cool, I will put that braid in my hair. But anyway, when they graduate, they get it cut off with a lightsaber. Or if they don't graduate, they get it ripped off, which probably would hurt quite a bit. But that's why he has that super awesome braid. And I know Ahsoka has it too. Ahsoka. I'm sorry. She has one, but it's not hair. It's like beads or something
attached to her body. Anakin also gets one at the end of the movie, if you remember, because he becomes a Jedi Padawan.
Yes. His doesn't look quite as awkward.
No. Absolutely
He doesn't have a shaved head, but... Well, I guess...
They give him a haircut.
He gets a haircut at the very end.
He gets a haircut at the very end, after him and Padme exchange googly eyes at each other, which is really
they
creepy.
do not do that.
They do too. Look it up.
She's like a big sister to him.
Yeah, and they bang in the next movie.
I can't even get into how... We'll get into that in the next movie.
We'll get into that in the next one.
I have a lot to say about that. Okay, so what is your fun fact for me?
Well, just a little behind-the-scenes fact is the poor kid that played Anakin was bullied the mess out of for the Star Wars movies.
in school. But
yeah, in school
I
and
don't get
outside.
like how you would get bullied. I don't know. Kids are mean.
Kids are mean.
I'm glad
I think they might have been jealous that they weren't in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
I would have been.
You would think it would be like, hey, you're cool. You're in a movie. Cool. But I guess...
When you're a kid, you're
just mean.
Yeah, you're not a human yet.
You're learning to be a human. So he hates Star Wars completely?
Oh, yeah. I think he completely left the film industry. He wants nothing to do with Star Wars or movies in general. I know he was in one other movie, which is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Which I have not seen.
I don't know how you haven't seen that movie. It has like one thing to do with Christmas, and that's it.
How old is he in that, like, when he acts in that movie?
I think he looks about the same age.
About the same age?
The kid was, I think, 11 or 12 when he did Star Wars.
He looked a lot younger, but...
Yeah, I know in, like, I think he was 11 or 12, because, like, he was, like, 10 years old in the movies, which isn't that big of a gap whatsoever, and it's believable.
Well, that's a normal thing. They have to find kids who look young, who can remember the lines and stuff like that.
Kids who can act.
Do you know how old he is now?
He's probably around your age. All right, we're going to talk about just miscellaneous stuff in general in the movies. I noticed in the beginning of the movie, when they're on the Trade Federation starship, is when they're trying to get through the door of where the Viceroy is, you know, the leader of the Trade Federation, and Qui-Gon's just, like, using his lightsaber to cut through it. They got the droidicas. The little rolly droids with the shields, and they roll up on them, and like they start blasting, and Obi-Wan's like, Master Destroyers, and Qui-Gon's like, let's get out of here, and they Scooby-Doo run away, force speed.
They yoink.
Yeah, they use force speed.
I caught that. I guess I didn't catch it when I was a kid, but I watched it and I was like, oh, maybe I have Disney Plus, and it has a little bit of trouble with like
the rendering.
Yeah, like. The audio will continue at a normal speed, but then the video will have to catch up, so it'll go through really fast for maybe a minute or two, and it looks amazing. But that scene, when I watched it, I was like, oh, is it messing up? Because it looks so comical, and it's just like, if you blink, you miss it, but they're just like,
Zip.
Exit stage left, like a hook comes and yoinks them out of there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They should have, what's it called? Jedi... speed running?
Force speed.
Yes, I wish they would have used that more.
That's the only time they ever used force speed. It would have been useful
a lot. Like
I can think of so many different instances
in
where
the Coliseum when the monsters, that they could have ran away. It's so many things. Did that force speed make them as fast as like a superhero? Like
I think the Flash could outrun them.
Okay, the Flash.
Yeah.
What's
I know like the
Quicksilver. As quick as Quicksilver or slower?
Probably slower, because all force speed is just they're just using the force to increase their stamina and endurance so that they can just go faster and further. But yeah, they never use it ever again in the movies, and I know one instance in this movie where it could have been useful, which is during the battle between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Maul.
Oh, the laser.
Yeah, with the little force gates, and you got Qui-Gon and Darth Maul dueling, and Obi-Wan's on the other side of the catwalk. He could have easily just used force speed to, kind of speed things up instead of just running normal speed to catch up to Qui-Gon and Maul. To help out.
Could have saved him.
He could have saved Qui-Gon, but Obi-Wan really wanted that master title, I guess. All right, and this about wraps everything up. So now we're going to get to our star ratings. Megan, what's your star rating of The Phantom Menace?
I think I'm going to do 3.5 stars.
Out of 5?
Out of 5.
3.5, why?
The battles are good, and the pod racing is good. That's like a whole 30 minutes where I don't hate the movie, I guess. I'm happy during those 30 minutes. I love world building, so it's cool that they go to one or two different worlds and you get to see what the different planets look like. I like some of the later movies where they jump a lot more, but
yeah, no, George Lucas is really good at world building. He's no good at script writing, but he's really good at world building.
Okay, and then what are you going to rate it?
I rate it 2 out of 5 stars.
2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally, I give it 1 star for Darth Maul, the other star for pod racing.
Wow, Darth Maul gets a whole star.
He gets a whole star, dude.
I didn't grow up thinking he was the most cool, amazing thing ever, but I don't know.
It's definitely looking through nostalgic lenses because I remember thinking, double-sided lightsaber. Now that is cool. And it's never been done before because keep in mind that Episode 6 just established that there's green lightsabers. And there wasn't supposed to be a green lightsaber. The only reason why they did it is because Luke's blue lightsaber blended in with the Tatooine sky. And so...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we just established in the last movie that there was a third lightsaber color. And now in this one, we established that there can be a double-sided lightsaber.
Okay. So 2 stars and 3.5 stars. So
which is an average of... Let's give it 3 stars, right?
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. 3 stars, 3 out of 5 stars.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
For a movie with Jar Jar in it.
Jar Jar and a lot of standing and talking.